Where did the people go? Is it the end of at the end of the show, or?
No, they went down there
They
to
went
go.
downstairs and I think they're walking around.
Ah, just walking around.
No, protesting.
Ah,
Protesting around.
Oh, I see. Stand with the Bolivarian. So you believe in Bolivarian revolution, I take it, right?
I do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Venezuela, sure.
It's the first time they're reading it. So what do you think? What do you think is the Bolivarian revolution then?
I think
If you believe in it.
I think that Maduro is continuing it, although there's been issues raised. But there's a question of sovereignty, and he was elected by far more votes than than Trump was. So it was a democratic election.
But how so? I mean, you know that Maduro is the one who continues. We call Bolivarian revolution. It started by Hugo Chavez, right?
I know that.
Right.
Chavista.
So, but it didn't start peacefully. Neither was it start democratic. It began democratically, no?
Well, there was the U.S. trying to topple him. Just
No,
like
but that's
there was
besides the
with
point.
Chavez.
We're
I
talking
don't
about
think
the
it was a golpe de Estado.
the origins.
It would have been if it hadn't been for the resistance they showed.
So if there's any time there's resistance, the revolution is justified.
This person, who the hell knows Guaido? Most of the Venezuelans don't even know who he is. And he's a self-appointed. It's a proxy war through that Elliot Abrams, who committed genocide in Central America.
Mm-hmm.
He killed people in El Salvador, all of that area, and he was indicted, in fact, for it and pardoned by Reagan. So, I mean, it's such a blasphemy that he's leading this so-called group for some kind of materials. What is it? Humanitarian aid. That's BS.
I see.
It's guns. It's a.
But what happened?
It's a pretext.
Look,
it's a pretext.
The thing that I don't understand. I mean, I sort of understand. But how come is that Venezuela, and that's what everybody's talking about, I guess, in mass media, had the highest standard of living of all South American countries. And now it's one highest standard of living. The people in Venezuela had one of the highest standard of living, and now it's one of the lowest. 3 million Venezuelans left the country.
Help,
what happened?
It's the U.S. sanctions. Basically.
So it's America's fault.
This is BS. They want to starve the people, take the oil, and then they pretend like they're helping them with this quote humanitarian aid. It's BS, and it's analogous to what they've done in Libya with the weapons, or the Iraq, the weapons of mass destruction. It's a pattern. How naive can you be? I mean, look at Chile with Kissinger. I mean, come on. How are we supposed to believe that this is a you know who Elliot Abrams is, don't you?
No. Who is
He's
it?
a tyrant.
Really?
He was in charge of he backed all of the corruption, the torture.
Is he an American?
The torture, yes.
Oh, okay.
He's the one who went down with the group to. He had his own plane. He's in Venezuela now on the border.
Oh, you're talking about today's government. Oh, I see. Trump's government. Oh, got it.
He was chosen by Trump.
I see.
And who do you think backs this Guaido? The president of Brazil, who is, he was known for supporting torture.
But 64 countries actually around the world, plus the U.S., they support Guaido. Like all of you. Well, I'm just responding. I mean, who knows who
it's that high anyhow, and I think Mexico is correct.
Mexico is not one of, if not the only Latin, but all Latin American countries are supporting him. So not just Brazil, all of them, except Mexico.
It has to do with the U.S. Hegemony and the money and the whole thing about the oil. Of course, it's tremendously rich in oil. Do you think that Trump gives a damn about anything but the money?
But what about the Russians? The Russians, I came from Russia, by the way, originally. What about the Russians?
They at least respect the sovereignty. They want to do business, so does China. This is not business. This is a golpe de Estado.
So the Russians respect the kind of business relations?
You speak Spanish, don't you?
No, I speak Russian.
Я
говорю по-русски.
Oh, I thought you did. Well, golpe
No,
de Estado,
sorry.
it's a coup. A golpe de Estado is a coup.
I'm sorry?
It's a coup d'etat.
Coup d'etat, that's French, yeah. But let's say...
It's a proxy war.
So how do you solve this problem then?
It's a proxy war.
How do you solve this problem? If there is a problem, and then, I mean, there is a problem.
It's not solved by intervention on the part of the U.S. That's clear. Every place the U.S. has been intervening has been worse off by 1,000 times. Look at Iraq. Look at Libya.
You think that Saddam Hussein was a benevolent leader, was a free
democracy? Of course not, but that's irrelevant. It's just
how
a pretext
is it
for intervening.
It's irrelevant because the United States of America
all they've done
doesn't have
is,
the right to go into another country.
That's just a pretext for invading.
Get invaded because of Trump?
Was that? Should we
get invaded by somebody else because Trump is a bad leader?
Whatever.
You think Trump is a bad leader?
National sovereignty.
Absolutely.
He is a bad leader.
Got the woman by the pussy and
I don't
things
want
He did,
anybody
really?
invading the U.S. to get Trump out. I don't want some kind of foreign power
This
to
should belong to the
intervene,
people.
allegedly on a benevolent mission, what they're not. It's a pretext.
2 days ago, he said that Venezuela got oil. He said in 2017, Venezuela got oil. We should go and get it. Trump said open.
What about the Russians, the Chinese? They're all over the place.
Listen,
Are they invading?
Is America invading? How is America invading?
You have
No, but how?
Abrams, who
I
is
mean,
a
how is America invading? I mean, physically.
Proxy war.
Yeah.
It's a
So, but you can say that Russia is conducting the Russia.
Invade for us.
A proxy war means that you pretend to be not involved, but you really are supporting, like the case in Yemen, where the U.S. has a proxy war going in the Senate.
Saudi Arabia.
Coalition.
This is nonsense.
Okay, but so how can you? Let's say if there's how do you solve this problem then? What do you do?
How do you solve this
We
problem?
stay
Yeah, what do
out.
you do?
It's up to the
How do I,
Venezuelans.
But then,
as a citizen of the
yeah.
United States,
What do you do?
solve the problem?
That's
Right.
the height of chutzpah.
I mean, bring
I don't know.
Bring
all
democracy.
I
You
can
don't
do
know.
is march. I can write to
No,
my.
the point is we're not
what
going to
can I do?
intervene militarily in another country.
But he's asking, what can you do?
What
Well, I don't think I
you
should-
personally,
I
and
don't
as a
think I should
country?
be protesting
As a
against Maduro.
country.
He
Yeah.
was elected democratically by what, 65% of the population?
Who?
Maduro.
We get out
Maduro,
on
and
the
you-
street and we protest
65.
against
It was
American
even
intervention.
monitored by the United States, and it's one of the cleanest elections in Latin America.
Do you think there were elections?
What about the U.S. elections? How can you be this arbiter of morality when you yourself are doing all this immorality? It doesn't
what?
make any sense.
What sort of immorality?
Well, let's
I'm
wait
not
for
gonna
Wednesday
argue
what
because
his lawyer has to
obviously
say.
you've already made
What
up your
Cohen has
mind.
to say Wednesday.
Yeah, but you have already said that there is immorality.
Do you see
Yeah.
So we're
what's
talking
happening Iraq?
in the past, not
Trump is all-
what is about to be discovered. Like what?
Like what? Just
give me an example.
Saddam Hussein
I just gave you an
it was
example.
Which
way
one?
better off in Iraq
First,
under him
grab the woman
than
by
what's
the pussy.
happened. Why don't you talk to the Iraqi people? They don't want the United States.
I did. They actually won. They're happy.
They want that kind of
Oh,
democracy.
they did.
You bring
Well,
to
no,
Libya?
but think about it. Saddam Hussein was no saint.
Of course.
Under
you're right.
Saddam
And
Hussein,
now they're better off.
of course they're better off.
They're better off now.
Absolutely.
They're destroyed. The whole country.
How
Libya is
destroyed the
controlled.
heroin
and,
for infrastructure.
and-
Iraq
and
is
Saddam
destroyed.
Hussein was responsible.
I don't want to hear anymore. It's too
Yeah.
ridiculous.
No, but
It
We're
is
giving you
ridiculous.
our
I'm part of a
opinion.
country.
Oh, yeah.
I'm from a country that was,
Haiti.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
what about Haiti?
For years, the U.S. supported the dictatorship.
Dictatorship. And who is responsible for that? Who is responsible for dictatorship?
I don't know. Do you know?
Well, I guess you people.
Yeah, you're right.
Because
So we have to
if
solve it.
you have to
so
solve
we
it.
wait out and solve it.
Well, if you have your own sovereign country and you have dictatorship in your own sovereign country, who's responsible?
I don't know about that.
Who's-
Have you heard about the latest news in Haiti?
Well, one
I
of
heard
the
about the snipers went and people were demonstrating, they shot them, and then got away because the U.S. Embassy just came and got them.
well, look, if you want to talk about dictatorship, I came from USSR originally,
From where?
from USSR.
Oh, USSR.
So there's no place on earth essentially worse than the dictatorship, the system that I used to live
I
in.
don't know. I don't know.
Well, you don't know.
I
Well,
don't
ask
know.
me,
I
I'll
said-
tell you.
I said I don't know about it because I wanted to compare it.
Well,
But right
there's
now in
no
the US
comparison. There's absolutely no comparison.
Listen, we have apartheid in South Africa. Don't tell me there's no comparison. We have
There's no apartheid in Africa. There's no apartheid. There's in fact, the
I said
government.
there was apartheid
There was, that's
in
right.
South Africa.
But what's happening
And so
now,
we were talking about comparison.
right? And apartheid wasn't that bad compared
Oh, yeah?
compared
As a black South
compared
African.
to what's happening in South Africa today with the black leadership.
Oh, yeah.
It has gotten much, much worse. I mean, you
It's
should
a
know it.
corruption, I understand that.
It's a
there's
corruption, it's murder.
Yeah, but don't tell me
There's
that it is
apartheid
worse.
against the white farmers in South Africa. A lot of
Well,
the
they were
whites.
part of the system. They were part of the apartheid system.
So now it's okay for the blacks to kind of take the land from the white people. You
Yeah,
think it's
because
okay?
they stole it.
So you think it's
Yeah,
okay?
they stole it before.
But you don't
They had
believe.
stole it before.
Wait. The fundamental. You know what? America is one of the greatest country. Actually, the greatest country on earth. Is among many other reasons. Is
Yeah, have you talked to black Americans?
you are black. I'm talking to you.
Yeah. Are you
So
have
I'm
you talked
talking.
to black
Of course I
Americans?
did. It doesn't
And
matter.
You just decide that
It
it's
doesn't-
the greatest country in the world.
It is
Have
the
you
greatest
talked
country.
Have you been to South World? Have you talked to these people? Have you asked them whether they are the greatest people in the world?
Well, it is the greatest
No,
country in the
no,
world.
but that's
This
for
is
you.
this is the
Because
country.
you could go anywhere
It doesn't.
and ask for white.
Well, listen. It
But
doesn't.
for a black person, it's
It
not the greatest
doesn't
country in
matter.
the world.
Of course, it is the greatest
How
country
could it be?
for any person. It
No,
absolutely
no,
can
no,
be.
no.
Black, white,
Only
Indian.
60 years ago we got to vote. That's bad. That's
How-
very bad. Only 60 years ago we got to vote.
Can
The
you-
civil right was
60
passed.
years ago
Yeah.
is 2 generations. It's a lot of time. 60 years
that means
is
that
a lot of. It
so that means
means.
I didn't exist. Or
Well, it means that 100 years ago there was still slavery. So we are getting better.
no, 100 years ago there was slavery.
Well,
I mean,
150 years
now
ago.
It's comparatively you're talking about. But I'm saying that if you talk to somebody,
Slavery still exists in Black Africa. How about that? Still exists today
is it
in the
good or bad?
21st.
Is it good or bad? That's the question.
Of course, slavery is bad.
Okay, then don't compare it
So
with other
no,
places.
my point is that America is the greatest place on earth. Is because if you look around, well, we're all equal. There are black policemen, there are white policemen, there are Chinese policemen. We're all
And then the
equal.
president would come out and said anything about black people, about Mexicans, that they're thief.
He didn't
And the
say that. He
Yes,
absolutely.
He did. Yes,
Oh,
he
come
did,
on.
sir.
Come on,
And are
he
you
didn't say.
filming me without my
You
permission?
don't mind it.
Are you filming me without my permission?
Let me see.
That's very bad.
Well, actually, I don't need the permission. But anyway, nice talking to you.